All right, I've been sitting here procrastinating, kind of contemplating doing this job. I feel like as soon as I open it up, or as soon as I start on this, I'm opening up like a huge can of worms. So check this out. Yeah. Everything's torn apart. The whole boat's an absolute nightmare right now. And so is this bulkhead. I've been slowly chipping away and hoping that as I do this, something comes to me on how I'm going to resolve this problem. But clearly somebody else has just laminated like a thin layer of woven cloth on top of this and didn't fix how water was getting in. So all it did was help hold moisture inside of here. And I don't think they used epoxy, because epoxy tends to adhere to plywood, whereas polyester just does this. And this is probably not healthy for me, because that's mold. And it's black mold, and clearly water has been draining down through here. This is not comfortable. So when the guys dropped my mast last time, they kind of put a little bit of side load on my spreaders, but I think they pulled the threads out of these bolts. The threads pulled out from this side, as you can see here. There's no threads left in there. So I'm gonna pull this one off, and the plan's actually to just move my spreaders up about an inch. I don't know if anyone in the comments can tell me what might happen from doing that, but I don't see how moving just 1 inch up on a 50-foot mast will make much of a difference to how my rig's tuned or set up. So instead of having bolts threaded into the plates, I'm going to use 1/4 inch rivets. After taking the spreader bases off and looking over a few things, it seems like the rivets I bought weren't going to work how I was expecting them to. So I came up with a new plan. I'm going to buy some threaded rod and bolt the bases onto the mast. All right, it's a new day, and the plan is to actually get these bolts set up. We're gonna cut this threaded bar to the lengths it needs, and hopefully I have enough and don't have to go buy a second length. I didn't take any measurements. The chuck on this drill is definitely going bad. So I've got to cut this bolt at about 7.5 inches. I've been kind of focused here building these, and so far it's really good. I've got the first stud in, and then I decided to seal it with butyl tape, and I think that's going to work quite well. So we're going to cut the next 4 lengths, put all those in, tighten them down, and this thing should be quite a bit more solid than it was before. Alright, sorry guys, I got carried away and just finished the job without really recording it. So, yeah. This is a little oxidized. I'm probably gonna scuff it up a bit and add a little paint. We'll see. I put a little bit of blue Loctite on all of the cap nuts, and I've checked to make sure that the spreaders will fit without interfering. So, yeah, this should be good. Sweet. Once I was finished with my spreader bases, I started looking over my mast tangs and noticed that these were going to need to be taken off. Mast tangs are very important because if one of them failed, the whole mast could easily fall down. And I noticed that a few of them had started to rust and show some pitting. So I figured it was best to remove them and hopefully get them replaced. The GoPro's not very great at focusing, but yeah, that's getting pretty rusty and pitted. And if this failed, all we would have left is one side. See, this one's pretty bad anyways. I don't see any, there's a little bit of surface rust, but besides that, it's fine. This one's even got some rust on this side, but this is what I'm most concerned about. So they just don't really look like they're gonna catastrophically fail anytime soon. They don't look absolutely horrible, but they don't give me confidence. And whenever I see something that doesn't give me confidence on my boat, I can't sleep super well without knowing I've repaired it. So I'm gonna have to get these built, which kind of sucks, is an expense I wasn't anticipating, but hopefully the machinists around here can give me a pretty good deal. Something I would like to be done differently when I have these rebuilt is, if you notice, when you drill out holes on stainless, you're supposed to have as much material on the outside of the hole as the width of the hole itself. And I could be wrong about this, but that's pretty thin. So I'd like to actually have these built a little bit wider. And when the 5/8 hole gets drilled out, have at least 5/8 of an inch of material on the outside, kind of like these ones. And if we can get this back to me fairly quickly, we still might be able to make it in time to put the mast up in 10 days or so. Well, I just went and dropped off my Tangs with Arturo. When it comes to boat repair, say I was out in the Bahamas and I noticed something like those Tangs, or a ways away from a repair facility or anywhere where I could actually get this stuff fixed, I would probably make do with how those are, and they probably could last over a year, maybe even more. They could be 5 years before those things break. But the logic behind this is we're out of the water right now and able to actually do the work. The mast is down, so it makes it a lot easier to change these things out, because if the mast was up, I'd have to be rigging up halyards and different things to try to support, and then climbing the mast is dangerous. So being able to do this right now, it's the best time too. So we're just gonna have to spend the money, get it done and over with, and it'll feel a lot safer. So I think I've let my boat get a little bit out of hand. There's quite a few bulkheads I need to repair, so I've cut a lot of them up and out, and I'm just about to get ready to grind out the glass around it so that I have fresh glass to laminate onto. And because of that, everything is a disaster. I need to try to sleep and live in here, and I've got 3 full bulkheads pretty much completely cut out. So check this out. That's the foam from my fridge, foam insulation. This side's taped off. The galley is still kind of decent, so I'm able to cook at least and access my fridge, even though that's kind of got crap all over it too. Companionway's turned into just a storage shelf since I have the AC unit there. My hydro vane and everything else is kind of jammed in that corner because I had to clear out that entire cabinet. The cushions from here are over here. This plastic is what I'm about to use to tape off this whole work area. All of the drawers that go in there are here and underneath the table. This bulkhead's completely destroyed too. This is the smallest one that I'm fixing, but this one is done. Well, done being ground down, so I don't need to tape this one off anymore. And then the head is a huge disaster. I just taped this off, so I guess I can't show you what's inside of there. But yeah, this whole place is a disaster. The goal right now is I'm going to tape off this area. Dust is probably going to get inside there, so I'm not super concerned about it. I just don't want dust getting on everything out here. So, if you see, my suit's right behind me. Got this pretty much taped off and ready to go. I was just going to crawl into here, have all my gear inside. The face mask is down in there, some socks, extra tape, the grinder. Everything was ready to go. I had my suit on, and the power went out. This happens all the time here. And at least it didn't go out while I was in the middle of doing that. That would have really sucked. But the wind's picking up. Hopefully it comes back and stays back. I suppose I could go turn my generator on. That's probably what I'm gonna do, so I can get this done and know that it'll get done. Yep, I'm turning my generator on. All right, generator's on. I'm gonna get this done and over with for good. Gotta work fast. There's no AC in here anymore, so it's gonna be really hot and extra hot inside of here. So yeah, let's go. That failed. That's... Damn it. I have so much cleaning to do now. Yep, this sucks. My whole boat's full of dust. I'm on the floor. I think I'm gonna sleep down here tonight.
I've done a bit of dusting. I actually ended up... this is probably a great shot. The power turned back on after I finally finished grinding there, and I was able to turn the AC unit on, and it kind of circulates the air. There could have been a couple things I did better. I should have hooked the vacuum up like I did when I did... This is upside down. That side. I wish the power would have been... Let me sit up like a normal person. I wish the power would have been on. That way I could have been running the AC, and that might have actually helped keep the dust inside the boat down too. There's still a lot of cleaning I need to do. Grinding all of that back wasn't even perfect. And there's going to be more hand sanding I'm probably going to need to do in order to get that to where it needs to be. It's going to not be a whole lot of fun, but none of this is all that much fun. But it is necessary. So tomorrow we're going to clean up, wipe down everything, do a lot more vacuuming, hopefully get a lot of the dust cleaned up. But everything's settled in here now. And yeah, I'm tired. It's time to sleep. So yesterday we ground out this whole area. Today I've just been vacuuming and kind of wiping down the surface, cleaning everything up, and it doesn't look perfect, but not terrible. I'm kind of over sanding and grinding for right now, so what I'm going to do is take some measurements and start cutting out the plywood for all 3 of the bulkheads I've cut out. I think it's time for some new scenery soon. Now I've got to get this on my dinghy and back to the boat. It's not that big of a deal. This is only 1/2-inch plywood. It should fit on my dinghy. It'll just be slow and awkward getting back. Hello. 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 Coming in with some plywood. Kidding. I need to build some bulkheads.
way. So there's this little trick that I learned while building a van quite a few years ago. And in order to get like the weird shape that is the side of the hull, I'm going to use a piece of cardboard as a template and trace it. I don't know how to verbally explain this, so maybe I'll just show you. So now I'm going to use kind of my pinky as a scribe. Now I'm going to cut that out, and then we're going to put it up against the hull and see if there's any little adjustments I got to make to the cardboard. What I've done here is the front edge is 38.5 inches, so I took a measurement from here down. It's 38.5. The bottom was 4.5, so here to here's 4.5. Then from the top corner over was 11, but we needed to run this angle, so I used my scribe thing, ran the angle, and then did 11 inches from there to there. And then cut this guy out. The power's been going out every day around this time. I think it might have just went out. All right, I hooked up my generator. What are you doing?
So, using our batteries is going to be difficult. Can we use your generator for like 10 minutes?
Yeah?
He's almost gone. Like, maybe 10 minutes.
Do you need it right now, or can I cut this out really quick?
You can cut that out. As long as we can stand here and watch it.
Doesn't. Oh, hi.
Beautiful.
Here's my piece. Hopefully it fits, or I've wasted a bunch of wood. So I actually cut this a little bit too big, so we're gonna put it in, see if it fits, and then just trace out any adjustments I need to make to it. The power went out, like I said, and Bo and Brandy were in the midst of painting their boat. Nice shot. So they needed to borrow my generator. It's having a hard time running over there. So obviously, like I said, it wasn't going to be a perfect fit. There's a couple areas that are going to need some work, but we got to wait for Bo and Brandy to give me my generator back for me to make these adjustments. We almost got this fit in. I just need to trim off a tiny little bit more, and then this will be up here in place. And something else that kind of sucks, I had to cut the bottom off the piece because there was a big gap here. I'll show you guys more tomorrow, but I got a plan. I'm gonna cut out a new piece, so it's gonna be pretty much a two-piece bulkhead now. Right now, I don't think you guys want to see what I'm living in, but this is the worst and most unorganized I think I've ever been. I'm moving footage over right now, so my laptop's running off of my inverter. Everything's torn apart. That's full of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So
hopefully my plan, like I was saying, is we'll get these bulkheads done, and then we can start actually cleaning and putting things back to where it belongs. Because I don't know how much longer I can handle this for.